Live with the one, the only, Steve Ploetz. Steve Ploetz is here. What's going on, man?
Not much. How are you?
Terrific. Couple things I want to say thank you for. Number one, thank you for coming to my wedding. I know that was over a year ago. This man came all the way to the middle of nowhere in Missouri.
I'm still waiting for that thank you note that you're going to...
And here it is, in person, live. Also, thank you for being such a great agent. It is really easy to refer you to people. And that is awesome, because you always want to refer your friends, you know, for stuff, but when someone really does a great job and you get feedback from other people who you've referred them to, that's really cool. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for the public shout out here.
Yeah, absolutely. You deserve it. Now we're going to talk about some hot deals in Vista. I asked you to come up with, you cheated, but...
That's what you think. I think I just am a pro.
So we're going to look at homes that are hot, that are for sale in Vista.
4 for 4?
4 for 4. My man was 4 for 4. Yeah, we decided to pull these up on Redfin just to see, you know, hey, are any of these actually technically hot homes on Redfin? And they all were. They all were.
So Redfin agrees with me, is what you're saying.
Maybe you could say that. Maybe you could say you cheated. Maybe you could say...
These segments are going to change significantly with the introduction of this newest iPad.
You know, what needs to happen is I really need to turn the volume up. Is that maximized? Okay, thank you. That's for coming to my wedding. Okay, let's look at the first one here. So this is a starter. This is under $325,000. 2-bed, 2-bath condo in Vista on Wellington Lane. This is a great price point for a first-time buyer.
And so you asked me to pull 4 deals in Vista, and what I looked for was a variety of types of demographics of buyers. The first-time home buyers, investor specials, so to speak, move-up buyers, etc. I think this property, the Wellington, which of course is in, or not of course, but is in the Shadow Ridge area, so 92081, which is around the golf course. This is not on the golf course, but a planned community, tract houses, etc. My wife and I live in Shadow Ridge.
I really like the vaulted ceiling here in this part of the living space, because this is a relatively small unit, under 1,000 square feet, right?
Right.
But it's really nice when you can have that vault in that smaller space.
It's an upstairs unit, which is typically more desirable. Yes, you got to go up and down stairs every time you bring groceries home, but from the positives, it means that you don't have anybody above you. You get the vaulted ceilings. You get a little bit more of a view. Tends to be a little more quiet. You don't have somebody tromping above you. And I think at the price point here, now the HOAs are significant. The HOAs in Wellington are going to be like, I think $340, something like that, but includes
not terrible.
Trash, water, etc. By the way, all of these homes, none of them are mine. These are, you asked me to look for great deals. I think that all of these are, and none are represented by me or our company. And to me, what I like about a property like this, as an investor, you put 25% down, which would be needed as an investment. Your payment is $1,500 all in. Now that doesn't include HOA, but HOA at $350 is, so you're there for $1,850. I think rents are going to probably be between $23 and $24.50, something like that. So as an ROI, as a return, I think you end up in a place where, with, I mean, what's 25% of 320 is at $80,000 about, with closing costs in that range. At $80,000 a year, maybe you're netting, I mean, let's see, $1,850. I said rents are like $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year on an $80,000 investment. As a return, that's 7.5%. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Or the other possibility would be a first-time home buyer. You can put less down. This complex is FHA and VA approved,
awesome.
So for first-time home buyers, it's definitely something that they can step into. And you get into a price point that makes a lot of sense.
You do have some amenities as well. I like the extra space here. You've got the washer and dryer hook upstairs. You can see it's well set up. When you have 1,000 square feet or less, you really need that. You're also not far from the pool, which is huge, huge pool. You're really close to that.
And just a good complex. I think it was built in the 80s, early 80s, as most of Shadow Ridge was, but very well maintained. The HOA is very active over there, and I mean because they get a good chunk of money, it allows them to maintain the property well. The exterior is all, I walk my dog by this community all the time, and just, it's a established community, it's really well done, and I think it's a good value.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I think you've got a lot here for your 325 grand. You know, for a lot of first-time buyers or people who are thinking of buying a house in San Diego, they don't believe that that price point is possible. It seems impossible. We have all sorts of people who come from our different shows that we do that are looking to buy in that sub 500 range. And it's amazing how many people we've been able to find homes in that sub 500 range who are very happy about the homes that they ended up with. But people just don't realize it's there. So that's why I asked you, I said, hey, bring me the best deals in Vista. And I didn't see these until late last night. And so I didn't have a chance to look at them in great detail. But this morning I did. I took another look. And the next one is really my favorite. So this one here, I just want to say this is, and as Steve mentioned, this is not his listing. We're just looking here on Redfin, obviously. And we'll give a little shout out here to the listing agent, who is Renee Burton, Coastal and Country. So that's her listing. It's in Vista, in Shadow Ridge, under 325, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 924 square feet, and really move-in ready, good to go, great shape.
And vacant, which I don't know the situation with the seller, but always makes me think as an investor or potentially as a first-time home buyer, the seller is at least carrying HOA costs. Their utilities are on, they're paying property taxes, they probably have a mortgage. So potentially they're carrying $1,000, $2,000 a month every month on this property. It hasn't been on the market very long. I do think that it's very well priced, but potentially it gives you some opportunities that maybe you can be a little bit more aggressive and see, hey, can I put a deal together at 315? Can I put a deal together at 312? Something like that.
Yeah, and I would say even right here at 325, you got a good deal for sure. Now this next one I'm really excited about, because this one to me is smoking hot. Yes.
And that's the end of the show. We're just going to play with it.
And now I just hit buttons for the last hour. So this one's listed at 500. It's on Gary Drive in Vista. Again, this is not Steve's listing. But what we both agree, and clearly from Redfin as well, saying it's a hot home, this one is, in my opinion, this is red hot smoking deal. Smoking deal. Now, this is a price point that a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah.
A lot of people are looking to stay under that $3,000 a month mortgage range. They want to be in the $2,600, $2,700 a month. You can get there on a place like this, where it's a detached home, you have no HOAs. Look, a 4-bedroom as well.
Right.
Now, only 1,350 square feet for
small,
the 4-bedroom,
yeah.
so it's smaller. But what's great about this is you have tons of space in this home, and there's also a really big upside surprise in the backyard. As you can see, there's solar here, which does have a lease.
Correct.
So that's one thing to keep an eye on.
Which is a little bit of I don't want to say a downside. I would say a solar lease is better than no solar, but the lease comes with some additional questions of things that you need to figure out. Want to ensure what happens at the end of the lease. Do they come and take all the solar panels back, or is there a buyout? And also, when it comes to purchasing, that always creates a little bit more of a hindrance in terms of the qualifications. You need to qualify for the solar lease, so if it's $100 a month, let's just say that's going to be added to your debt to income. But typically, nobody puts solar on when it doesn't actually help the situation.
Pencil, yeah.
When it doesn't
If
pencil.
they did, that's a rare situation. But you can see, I love the extra touches on this house, because you're not, at a $500,000 price, you're not really paying for these. These are sort of bonuses. Like, look at the stonework here.
Yeah.
That's elegant, bruh. For $500,000? Steve hits a random button. I'm going to give it one more appropriate. Yes. Now look at that. I mean, that is fancy schmancy for your $500,000 house in Vista here. As you can see, the 2-car attached garage as well. And look at this. Reminds me of like a castle in Amsterdam or something. I mean, look at the tile work.
Vista, the newest Amsterdam.
The new Amsterdam. Now, one thing that's really interesting too, but you could probably vault this ceiling.
Absolutely.
Not that it would make sense or that you should run in and do that, but for people like myself who look at a place like this, hey, single level home,
right.
Desirable, want to feel more spacious in my 1,400 some square feet, you know, I might vault that ceiling. But you obviously don't have to, but it's an option. It's there. But look at the space there. Look at the work on the fireplace. The tile looks great.
And again, to me, another property that's obviously vacant, potentially
True.
some opportunities. I mean, I agree with you that it seems like this property is very well priced based on comps. You also run in 92084, so no HOA. It's a corner lot. Appears to be very well taken care of. Obviously, would want to have home inspection, et cetera.
Of course.
But opportunity, and with the 4 bedrooms, even with small bedrooms, opens it up to a variety of demographics in terms of families, VA, investors.
Yeah.
And the kitchen's been nicely done.
Kitchen's nicely done. It's big. It's open to that dining space there, as you can see. You know, there's also here, as you can kind of see through the kitchen, to as you start to get towards the backyard, there's like this bonus room or something. We'll get to it in a second. Here's a good shot of the kitchen. Look how big that is.
Yeah.
I mean, huge kitchen. You could throw an island in there if you wanted to. You got enough space for sure. There's where the fridge goes there, and yeah, you can see it does appear to be vacant based on these photos. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Here's a shot of one of the bedrooms. You can see here's the master. Good size, you know. It's not teeny tiny. It's not huge, but it's not teeny tiny. And everything just looks really well done. You know, I mean, there's nothing here that's really dated or in bad shape. You know,
Right.
Everything looks really clean and well maintained. And to me, that's a big deal. Here's that sort of go-between room. I don't know. This is not counted in the square footage, I'm assuming.
Correct. Yeah.
So what would you call a room like this?
I mean,
It's
this
like
could be a California room, as it's called. I've heard people call it a Florida room. I mean, in my opinion, what it looks like is that this was a pergola. This was outside on the right-hand side of the screen. That is actually the exterior of the building originally, and they probably had this awning that went out and then said, hey, you know what? Why don't we utilize this space, enclose it, and make it a kid's room, or put a pool table in there, or those different, utilize that space differently. So yeah, exactly to your point, not included in the square footage, and as we talked about, the square footage is smaller, so potentially gives a kid's playroom or an additional space that's inside. Looks like it has lighting, which probably doesn't have heat.
Yeah, I don't know what you would need to do in order to get that to count in the square footage. Would you have to run?
You'd have to get it permitted.
So it might not be permitted.
It likely is not permitted. This is Vista. We don't permit anything. it's the Wild West. 92084. That's where I grew up.
Permits?
Permits. We do what we want.
What are you talking about, permits?
Yeah, you'd need to pull a permit, and typically, of course, obviously, the reason someone doesn't pull permits is because then you're going to get reassessed, and so depending on when they purchase this property, if they
Higher
make these
taxes.
upgrades, then you get the higher taxes that come.
Well, which is okay. I mean, you know, because that. So what I see there is an opportunity, because if you went and did the permitting, or went and did whatever, get it added to the square footage, you immediately have an increase in the value of the home.
Absolutely.
Which would cause you to have to pay higher taxes. But if you're looking to sell it down the road or buy this for a long-term
Yeah,
investment,
in terms of a price per square foot, then you go from whatever it is, $13.50. That looks like maybe a 15 by 20 room. There's 300 square feet. Now you're talking about $16.50.
big difference.
Yeah, big difference.
But it's nice though, because you still have the space.
Yeah.
So you've got the space there, which you can use. This could be an office very easily. It could be a workout room. It could be the kids' playroom. You could easily make this into a guest suite.
Yeah.
You know, with just a couple of small things. A lot of things that you could do with this space right here. So I think that is huge. To have a bonus space like that on a price point like this already, and as you can see through the window there, you got a pool. Got a freaking pool. Look at the lot.
Yeah, and a corner lot, well maintained, good sized. I mean, and gives you the opportunity in that last photo. You could also open up that space and create a little bit more of an open floor plan. But yeah, no, this is why when I saw this, I looked through comps looking for something. I felt like newer on the market, single story, 4 bedrooms, corner lot, well priced, aggressive. I mean.
Yeah, 4 bedrooms, priced at $500,000. It's only been on the market a few days. You have a pool. You have that extra bonus room. It's in really good shape. Nice big lots, over a quarter acre. This lot. So I think it was 13 or almost 14,000 feet on this one. So that is sweet, dude. I mean, that is what I am talking about, brother. So many things you could do with this, and you can see there's stuff there. There's options for probably setting up all sorts of BBQ or fireplace there in that corner. It looks like it's already kind of arranged for that. So a lot of options. There's a good shot of the yard too. just to kind of show you how big that space is. I mean, you got a pool, and you can play touch football right there.
Yeah, and I agree. I think the biggest challenge with a lot of the homes that have pools throughout San Diego County is the pool takes up most of the yard. What I appreciate about Vista, particularly 92084, is that you've got the space with the lot size that then you can do other things. Give them that little stutter step, spin move.
Woo! Loving it, man. We are on fire here. So these are hot homes for sale in Vista, according to Steve Ploetz. Redfin has agreed with him on these so far. And they agree with you again here, Steve, on Cypress Drive. Now,
Which you don't agree with,
you
right?
need to sell me on this one. Now, obviously, you and the people searching on Redfin agree that this is a hot home. It's listed for $525. This is now a 3-bedroom, but it is that bigger size at coming in almost 1,800 square feet. Listed at $525. Only the 3 bedrooms, though. No pool with this one. Tell me why you're in love with this one.
Great neighborhood. This is Cypress, which is...
Wait, what was that? Is that from the neighborhood?
This community, it's over off of Foothill. It's near Brangle Terrace Park. To me, it's one of a few very prestigious and desirable communities of 92084 on the custom lots. This, what I appreciate, the last one, definitely a good value at the 4 bedrooms, but the square footage is small.
True.
Here, less bedrooms, but a lot more of an open space. I think, and again, single story here, what I like is that opens up some possibilities that if somebody's downsizing, if somebody, empty nester kind of situation, could be a first-time home buyer, especially at this $500,000 price point. The downsides of the custom homes in these communities is that sometimes you get property that is a little bit older. I believe that this one is, to me, kind of a fixer potential. Big lot.
Big mature trees.
Big mature trees. Just a very established community. And 1974, I believe that it was built. And when I looked at it, I said, whoa, there's a fair amount of work that can be done there. But in the market that we're in right now, I think that this is a great opportunity, and many buyers will be turned off by the condition. And so I think it creates an opportunity where potentially you can be aggressive as well. Now, I would be interested to know how Redfin determines what is a quote-unquote hot home, whether it's something...
I think it's based on how many people are looking at it, visiting it, looking at it, and then coming back to it. Just in comparison to the other homes that are for sale around it.
Yeah.
I think that's how they do it. I'm not sure.
And so if, and I agree, that makes most sense, if that's the way that Redfin is determining what is hot and what is not, this is like back to high school, who's hot, who's not.
I thought you were talking about those chairs. I remember those chairs from high school.
The nice thing is, this is a community where there typically isn't a lot of turnover. And so because there isn't a lot of turnover, that's why, on the downside, you'll get some properties like this that are 1974 inside. I mean, that refrigerator was top of the line back in the heyday.
In its day, it was a beast.
But I really do think that there's some opportunity here in terms of getting a floor plan that is functional, getting into a neighborhood that is quality and strong, and having the condition that is perhaps livable in the short term. I mean, it isn't unlivable, it's just old, but for someone, probably a first-time home buyer or a move-up buyer, that they could get into an established community, save money, and over the years fix up the property exactly as they like. But, oh, that light fixture? Talk to me, huh?
Well, I do like the layout. I do like the floor plan, the setup. It's more modern in the sense that it's open, which was not the case in most of the homes back then. It also looks like you have a bonus California room, if you will, here as well, which adds to that square footage. That's enclosed, but it is sort of an exterior part of the property. So, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible deal, you know, but I think that you and Redfin both got this one wrong.
Oh, interesting. So
I'm gonging it. It's been gonged.
So what do you not like about it?
Ultimately, just compare the two. You know, let's look at Gary Drive with the pool, with the bonus room, with everything dialed in. I mean, it looks like brand new carpet there. Everything's all fresh and clean. The tile work is great. Everything's great about this place. It is a little bit smaller, but you have that extra square footage there that's enclosed that is going to make it feel bigger. You have the big kitchen. You have opportunity. You could vault the ceiling if you want to. You got the pool, the nice
This is
big
a lower
lot.
price. I
It's
hear
a
what
lower
you're saying.
price.
This is a different neighborhood.
I can't go to this at a higher price. And yeah, it's a different neighborhood, and maybe I don't know the intricacies of the neighborhood. But I mean, just on the merits of the home.
I agree.
itself.
I agree that if we just look at the merits of the home, that you look at the other one and go, it's got a bigger lot, it's more finished, it's in a similar price point, it has a pool. I mean, you couldn't put in a pool for $25,000, not that one.
No. I don't think you could put a pool in this place. At least I didn't see where you would be able to put a pool. Now you have RV parking here, it looks like.
Right.
And that's something that matters to certain buyers.
And I think I know that this community is a little bit more desirable than the previous one. I think the previous one, it was at Gary Drive or wherever.
Yeah. Gary Drive, yeah.
That one I think is very good as an investment property as well, where potentially just for its location, it's kind of East Vista way. It's a little further away from things, whereas Cypress is, you're probably 6 minutes to the 78 freeway. I mean, you get better access, and you have a little bit more of an established uniform community.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll give you a decent argument. the gong has returned.
Now, nothing wrong with Cypress. I'm sure it's a good deal, but I just think Gary's a better deal. That's all. I wouldn't, if I were going to go and scream from the rooftops today about the best deals that I saw looking on online at properties, this one on Cypress just wouldn't be in there. So
yeah, of your three, Gary's your number one so far.
For sure, Gary's the number one. I think for first-time buyers, Wellington Lane was really nice. We saw that one, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom for under $325 listed right now. But then, of course, this last one, we got 4 total here. This one's a little bit higher price point, but this one is for sure a Samokin deal.
So this is Shadow Ridge, and this is in actually right around the corner from where I live. And what I like about Shadow Ridge, the benefits of Shadow Ridge, is you get the established, more tracked community. That Wellington is also in this similar community in the Shadow Ridge area. So, I mean, you've got sidewalks and as very small HOA. I believe this one probably has an HOA of $25 or $28, something like that. $32. So, and this one I believe was a flip.
This is a flip. This is a Hawthorne and Albatross flip.
And so sometimes, as we've discussed, sometimes flippers will underprice the property in order to get a lot of activity and make sure that things move quickly, because what they're most interested in doing is finishing the project, unloading it to a good qualified buyer, and moving on to the next project.
Yeah, they want to get their money out because it's very expensive for them to hold. They have super high holding costs.
Right.
So it makes sense for them a lot of times to list the properties very aggressively, try to get a good offer quickly. So they don't want to be on the market for very long. This one's been on the market 7 days. You have almost 2,000 square feet here. 669 is what it's listed for a 3-bed, 2-bath. But this thing is gorgeous, and I will say Hawthorne and Albatross, if I was going to buy from a flipper, for sure that's one where I would feel very confident. They take a tremendous amount of pride in the work that they do on their flips, and so when you see something like this, you can probably go back and even backtrack into what they bought it for and all that stuff if you wanted to. But you could see that everything here is done really, really well. Now, what do you think this place should go for? You said they've underpriced it. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is gorgeous.
Well, and I agree that they, as a flipper, what I appreciated about them is that they don't just do the things you can see. There's a lot of flippers that will do just what is seen, the finishes, the cosmetics. My experience with them is that they'll also check electrical, they'll check plumbing. As you saw from the backyard there, that they finished the backyard. Many flippers will just kind of say, hey, it's like new construction. We're going to let the jungle remain a jungle, and we'll let the buyer deal with it, and we'll handle the interior. I think that this has the potential to get close to $700,000 in terms of the price point, just because the finishes are so nice, and it's a great street. Goldenrod is a little dead-end street that's in Shadow Ridge.
Look at this work here.
Yeah, I mean, they've really done nice work that's there. I wouldn't be surprised if they already had offers activity. I think probably, I mean, we're kind of heading into a big weekend here, so to speak. Most people consider the selling season between Memorial Day and Labor Day.
Is that right?
I expect that we'll start to see more inventory like this begin to come on the market. But this is very well done.
This is beautiful. I mean, this is like Chip and Joanna level, seriously. I mean, they didn't skimp on this, as you can see. Super, super nice. Here's the master. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome master.
Large vaulted ceilings. I mean, just again, a single-story property. I mean, just very well done, and I think makes sense for a buyer that wants to look at this, to stay in this property very long term. I think this is a great owner-occupied purchase.
100%, 100%, and good to go. Nice little backyard too, some privacy there. They did finish it off. They took care of everything here. I mean, this thing is, everything is good to go. Of course, get your inspections always if you're buying a house, but I really like this master. I like the setup with the way it connects to the backyard. All the finishes are exactly what I would want to see. And look at this living space.
Yeah.
You know, with the kitchen open to everything like that. I mean, that's what everybody's looking for right there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think it's a very unique time right now where I think a lot of buyers are watching what's happening in this market, and we've seen the appreciation. We've determined again that I was right from our last conversation.
We've seen the appreciation.
October or September. We need to. You know what I will do?
You want to check in on that?
I would like to check in on that. I should check in on that.
Now Steve thinks he's winning, so he wants to check in on it.
Yeah. Now that I think that I'm ahead, that's when we can put our fingers on the pulse and make sure that I'm actually winning.
I won't hear from you though if you're not.
Well, yeah, I'll just ghost for
radio
a little
silence.
Radio silence. So Steve, how's the bet going?
Remember you were going to check on that?
I was.
Steve?
I think I said that last week or last month and the month before, but I wanted to make sure that things are really pushing in our
I've got to
direction.
figure out where all my buttons are because there's one that I really want to hit right there. I missed the timing.
You missed the
I
timing.
can't find it. Where is it?
Oh, don't worry. A little dead air here as
Dang
we wait
it.
for Derek to find his silly button.
That sucks. I can't find it. Kitchen is really sweet in this one too. It's a different style kitchen, and they chose not to completely open it up, which I know they normally like to do, but I think there's load-bearing situation there with this wall because of the vaulted ceilings and kind of the positioning of it. But it's still really, they opened it up, as you can see, the cutouts, they made it very open. It feels very open. It's bright as well, as you can see there with the windows, which I don't know if that window was there or not, but those windows look new to me. So I don't know. That looks like a much bigger window than you would normally see at a kitchen sink. I have a feeling that they opened that up and that's their window, and it looks like that's a sticker on that window. That would be my guess. So those little things, you know, they really do make a big difference. And you walk in this place, and I guarantee you, if you're looking in this price point in this area, you walk in this place, you're not going to find one that's this kind of value. So even though this is a higher price point than what I kind of champion myself in being, which is the guy who's trying to help people get into houses who are in the get-in price.
Right.
You know, I really want to help people who are trying to figure out how to get there.
Yeah.
How do I own a house? I'll give you an example right now of someone that I'm talking to, and she wants to be in the Poway School District. Really important for her, and she's a nurse. You know, she's a single mom, a couple kids, renting, and realizing that with the renting thing, it's a very unsure situation. It's very unstable. Every year the rents go up, and you don't know. Hey, is my landlord going to sell the place this year? Are they going to kick us out, or what's the deal? So you mentioned bringing on an attorney to talk about tenant rights, which I really think we should do, because one thing I want people to know, and this is something that I do know, and I'm not an attorney, but I do know this, that if you are renting, they need to give you a notice to vacate, which is a 60 days. Even if you have a 1-year lease and your lease is up, if you keep paying the rent, they keep cashing the check. Without a notice to vacate, you're fine. So you kind of go month to month automatically unless they give you that notice to vacate. If they do give you that, then you have 60 days. So you always have that 60-day safety net, if you will. And that's something that you should know. In her case, lease is up soon, wants to buy, wants to plant roots, wants to be in a situation where she doesn't have to worry about what are we going to do about where we're going to live. Wants to hedge her bets on owning a home, which is what you're doing. When you buy a house, you're hedging your housing expense, saying this is my housing expense now. Right. And they could get by with a 3-bedroom, no problem, maybe even a 2. But then, you know, qualifying for the right amount based on the way income's set up, and then also being able to find an agent who'll go get after it and say, hey, we have 45 days to find a place, right. And then another 30 days we have to be closed. That is something it seems very stressful, but I mean, in your experience, I'd love to get your thoughts on this, because in my experience, if you have a motivated buyer and you can get them qualified, this is something, you can make this happen. There are deals out there. I know a lot of times the properties that we see are certain ones that, you know, are posted online, or that, you know, maybe you're just glamour shopping online. You say,
Right.
oh my gosh, look at this, oh, but it's $1 million. There are great homes. We've shown you a couple today, at least 3. At least 3. And they're great homes that are available right now. They're actually on the market. So this isn't even off market stuff. This stuff is on the market.
Well, and to your
public view.
point, I think that as consumers, we often think in generalities, in these big sweeping statements about whether it is a buyer's market or a seller's market, or hey, well, all of a sudden there's multiple offers, and we make these vast sweeping statements about our entire county. And as you and I have talked about, San Diego is filled with a bunch of different local markets, and Poway, where the nurse potentially could be looking, is entirely different than Vista. And there are always opportunities, and you just need somebody that's local that can look in and say, this is a good deal, and here's why, and here's where the data supports it. And as we have talked about, one of the few places that we actually agree is that if you're purchasing a property long term, it makes sense to jump into the market sooner rather than later.
100%.
Because, especially as owner-occupied. So I think that absolutely things can be done in short time frames, and you can still get a quote-unquote good deal. There are sellers that also want to sell in a short time frame, or that are selling for a variety of reasons where dollar amount is important but may not be actually number one. Right now I'm representing a trust. They have 5 properties to sell. Absolutely, they want to get top dollar, but more important is, since that money is going to come into a bank account and then be distributed 7 ways, whether we get $14,000 more total, that only equates to $2,000, and there's commissions and closing costs. Really what they want is they want to liquidate. They want to be done with those properties. And that isn't something that's unique. That's happening all the time. That people are looking at financial situations and saying, you know what, let's liquidate, let's get out, now's the opportunity to make the move.
We already found our house, our next place. Those things are happening all the time, so you just have to hustle. That's really what you just have to hustle. You have to be on top of it. And if you can't be on top of it yourself, which is totally understandable, and you have to have an agent who's going to be on top of it for you. And that's really where the difference is made, in my opinion, because, you know, in the old days, when I bought my first house, you know, my agents would come. It was a mother-daughter team, and they would come by my office first thing on Monday every week, and with printouts. Yeah. Here's the houses that we think you'll like. I would look at one photo, which was on there in black and white, and look at the stuff, and basically say whether I wanted to go to see that property or not. And then I would have to go. But they were always looking for me.
And as you have mentioned, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it's your story, not mine, but you had told them, this is my price point, $250. I forget what the number was, but let's say it was
$150, I think.
$150.
Yeah.
And then they showed you a property at like $185.
$179.9.
$179.9. And you had said, $150, that's my cap. But because you had a local expert, they were able to say, this is a good deal, and it's going to meet all the requirements that you want. So yes, it is listed $30,000 over your top, but this is good opportunity long term.
They knew I could afford it, and they knew I would like it. That's what it was. And so they didn't tell me the price on this one on purpose. We have one we want you to see.
Yeah, we have one more. We're not telling you the price. We're not giving you the sheets.
Follow
on
us. Yeah, I didn't have the sheet on that one. I walked in, and I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. How much is it?
And then they sheepishly went,
okay, $179.9 on this one. I was like, oh man. But I ended up getting it for $172.55.
And if you don't mind me
like
asking, yes or no, did you make money on that deal when you sold it?
Yeah.
So in hindsight, it was the correct decision.
Well, it was the house that I really wanted, you know, and that's the thing. They realized that I wasn't liking the houses that they were showing me.
Right.
So they showed me a house that they knew I would like, and said, well, let's show him something that he likes. We know he can afford it.
And to me, that's a pro. Your agent was a pro, because
for sure they are.
As consumers, sometimes we don't know what we want. We have an idea. This is my pie in the sky. This is what I want. But then when I learn market, and I learn what things cost, and I learn what I can afford, then a pro that can say, hey, I know you said no townhomes, but humor me. Let's look at this one. That's where working with a professional that can recognize what your needs are and open your eyes to different communities and neighborhoods.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's put you in the Cypress House. It'll be great. You'll be happy.
The Cypress House would not work for me. I would not buy it with your money. But Goldenrod is a really good value. A really good value for what is effectively almost a brand new construction home. That's priced probably under
There's
market.
around the corner, there's a single story that's on the golf course. My opinion, it's overpriced. It's in the 8s.
Wow. Wow. And this one here, Gary Drive, this was just a smoking deal. 4 bedrooms listed at $500 with the pool, with the big yard, with the really nice finishes throughout. That is a smoking red hot deal. Lots of people would like to know that. People don't know though, we forget because of the fact that there is this online presence and all these things are here on all these different websites, that we forget that that people don't necessarily scour. There's so much to look at. I mean, if I just pop out here and go, San Diego, what's going to happen here? Look at this.
Yeah.
Okay, well my max is, let's say my max is 500. Look at this. Now if I remove the outline, look at how many homes there are. Do you expect that the average person who's a home buyer is going to scour all this?
Yeah.
But I will tell you, one of the things that I really enjoy about the Redfin website, which there's many things I really enjoy about the Redfin website, but one of the things I really enjoy is you can see when the market is heating up, and right now the market is really heating up. Look at all the hot homes.
Yeah.
Look at that. It is just covered.
And again, if we're saying that, and we don't 100% know, but we are making some guesses, that a hot home is determined based on views, activity, return users, etc.
Yes.
What it's showing is there's a lot of people that are looking. There's a lot of people that
Correct.
are at least exploring online and going, hey, I wonder, let's look either in my neighborhood or in a community that's desirable. What are things going for?
Yeah, and you can see right here, I mean, how many people I've talked to who want to be in this area here, 92104, the University Heights, North Park area. Look at all these places, 380, 485, 300. Yeah, these might be 1 or 2 bedrooms, but look there, I mean, if you want to be there, and that's your price point, that's what you have to work with. Yeah. And it's not that bad. And there's options there. I mean, I just did a random search under 500, and look at all these hot homes. So there's a lot there. Look at City Heights. There's tons of deals over there too. North Park right here at $499. Boom, there's another hot home. Yeah. That's a 2-bed, 2-bath right there, 92104, in good shape. There's a lot more there than you realize, because all these homes here that show up in this, and see how they have to kind of zoom it out, all of these houses are all under 500.
Yeah.
All that. So for people who are looking in that under 500 range.
Yeah, and I think those are actual numbers of the numbers of homes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of those, yeah, like in the middle there, it's
27
30.
homes.
Yeah, 27
19,
homes right in that little.
30.
Yeah.
14 right here. 23 right here. 19 right
yeah,
here.
so that's several hundred homes that just under 500,000 right there.
That's the only filter I put in there, but just to give you an idea. So there are opportunities. The market's heating up. There's a lot of people looking. I think that, I don't know, I feel good. And the other thing that I do want to say too, and I think this one may come as a surprise to you anyway, is that when I look at what's likely to happen here in the stock market with the election coming next year, the recession predictions that are out there, the fact that we do have a short-term credit cycle that has kind of come to a head, that there are some things that need to sort of balance back out in the macroeconomic situation. When I look at around the country, and I look at real estate all over the country, I mean, I'm looking in Iowa, Idaho. Anytime someone tells me, oh yeah, you should look over here and see what, oh, I'm buying rental properties over there. Oh, this is the best place to live in. I always do that. I'm always searching that and looking in these areas. 400,000 or 500,000 does not get you what it once did in some of these places. I'm much more concerned. I have actual grave concerns for pretty much everywhere else in the country. Because when I look in Minnesota, when I was in Minnesota last year, and I just went and looked at properties, just walking a neighborhood, you know, $500,000-$600,000. It's like, are you kidding me? Yeah. And they were nice houses. You know, they were good, they were nice houses. But you're also in Minneapolis. You know what I mean?
No disrespect.
Almost Canada, no disrespect. But we're in Southern California here.
Right.
We have a lifestyle that's completely, if every single person in the United States of America was forced to come take a trip to San Diego for 48 hours, do you know what would happen? A lot of people would leave where the hell they live right now.
Yeah.
Okay? People just don't quite understand what they're missing out on. Thank goodness. But what's happened is, and this is what a buddy of mine who is from Boise was telling me, and I actually talked to someone else from Boise recently who said the same thing. They said, we left Boise to come here because all the people from California, a lot of people leaving the state of California, we know that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are leaving because it's cheaper elsewhere. Well, Californians come into Boise, they look at the real estate and they go, oh, it's only $600?
I'll pay asking price.
Yeah. That's a smoking deal. We couldn't buy a shoebox in San Diego for that. And so they come in with this distorted mindset, and what happens is Californians leaving California have gone and bought up real estate in all these other places and propped the values up. And people from those areas have left, and a lot of them have looked and gone, well, California actually, I mean, if we're going to pay this much for a house, let's at least go live it up.
Well, and to your point, I think there's a lot of people that are trying to figure out where should I put my money. And the benefit, in my opinion, of putting it into real estate. I mean, right now, economy is very strong. Unemployment, the lowest it's been in 12 years or whatever it was that they recently came out with. People have money, people have real jobs, people have down payments, and they're looking for places to invest. And as we have heard from guests on your show, the stock market can be a little scary. It's at some all-time highs. There's always the nervousness that comes in when something hits a new high. What I like about real estate is that rents went up 17% year over year from last year to this year in San Diego County alone. And you've got a tangible asset. You've got something concrete.
Well, you've got to live somewhere. So,
right.
I mean, and the cornerstone of your retirement strategy should be owning a home. There's no doubt about that. The question is for people, and by the way, renting is okay, as long as you have a home ownership strategy in place that you're executing, meaning you're saving money so that you can ultimately buy a home. Once you know where you want to be. If you know where you want to be, long term, there's no reason to rent. Makes no sense. You're just throwing money away, literally. I mean, and we've used examples on the show before where someone's paying $2,500 a month. That's $30,000 a year. So if you wait a year to buy a house in that same area, you need prices to go down $30,000 for you to be in the exact same situation that you're in right now. So it's actually very risky a lot of times to wait, much more so than it might be to go ahead and buy and start paying that mortgage off. Because what you want is you want a paid off house. That's what you want. Paid off home means you're going to be okay. I watched my mom do it, watched my dad do it, and it puts you in a position where you can retire comfortably, safely, easily, no house payment. Boom. Now you don't need so much income. You don't have to work. You know, that's what it's really all about. Because at the end of the day, what are we doing all this for? You know, everybody's working, you got to live for sure, but at some point you want to be able to take it easy. For goodness sakes.
Oh, you looking for a sound for take it easy?
Steve, what else? Is there anything else we should cover? I feel like we nailed it. 4 hot homes, 3. And, you know, debatable 4th hot home in Vista that's for sale right now. The market is heating up.
Yeah.
A lot of people are looking. I expect to see a lot of these deals start going into escrow.
I think it's a great idea for next time for us to talk about tenants' rights. I always keep, as we talked about beforehand, basically a big sheet of all of tenants' rights, but then bringing in the attorney to talk about something along those lines about what are things that tenants are allowed to do, what can you expect from your landlord. I think that'll be a very good topic.
Agree 100%. That's exactly what we do. Hey, share this video, make your friends smarter than everyone else. And hey, there's some